Yes, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another session of getting clarity on your career calling. Once again, Rosa Lakaising and myself, Gary Bradley. And today we're going to be talking about this topic about getting clarity on your career calling with a specific focus today on the CFA model. So Rosa will ultimately tell us more about this. So Rosa, over to you.
Thank you, Gary. It's great to be here with you all again. Thank you all for watching on Facebook. And if we don't acknowledge you right away, that's because we're streaming through Zoom and we may not see your chats, but please put your comments in and we will get back to you after. So what are we talking about here? When we're talking about finding your calling, it's so essential to living a fulfilling life that we both, Gary and I, believe that you must have clarity on that and no fuzziness around what your calling is. So I created a program called the CFA program, and it's a model more or less. So what does CFA stand for? It's clarity, focus, and action. What happened was in my first 2 years of business, I was getting so much input from various coaches, well-known, successful coaches around the world, a lot of great information. I was so excited and doing okay. But after a couple of years, I started to hurt and wonder, well, where's all this information taking me? I don't know. I felt like I was packed up on a train with a lot of goodies going to nowhere. Had no idea where I was going to end up, but excited, pulling in all this information with me. So I realized that I needed some time off. When I took that time off, I really found a way to get clarity, because when we have clarity, only then we can focus on a specific pathway. When we get focused on that pathway, then we know exactly what action to take. See, all before I did that, there was all kinds of action steps I was taking. So I was busy. Can you relate? I'm sure a lot of you can
Yes.
relate. Being busy is fun, isn't it? It makes you interesting. It makes you approachable. It makes you a good conversationalist. But you know what? Where's the money? Being busy is not the answer to productivity, to outcomes, to revenue. Being productive and focused will bring you the right level of busyness. And so what happens with that is when you know how to take the right action. I just want to mention one of the world's greatest successful businessmen said this: if you are working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. So how do we get there, guys? This is what we want to talk to you about today. So Gary, I want you to tell the world, why is clarity power to you? How do you see that?
Yeah, let me just go back one step on vision, if I may, just for a quick moment.
Yeah.
And so, well, what is vision, folks? Like, have you ever really thought about it? And yes, we think in pictures, and we get these visions of what we'll do today, next week, or so on. But it's exactly that. When we talk about a vision of your future, it's really a mental image of what you see as an inspiring ideal future. So and for me, for example, I have a vision of I'm looking down upon the earth after I've passed away, and I'm literally seeing in my mind's eye, right, all the people that I've helped and served. So that's kind of a vision, right? It's a mental image of a successful future. So then how do we get there? As you're saying, Rosa, more swiftly, is through CFA. And so yeah, clarity is the key. And I like to describe clarity with my magnifying glass here. And we know that as we take the magnifying glass and we marshal the sun's rays through the magnifying glass, onto the piece of paper, that it concentrates those energies, those energy beams. It concentrates, it focuses those energy beams, just like a laser, right? It's just concentrated light. And we know we can burn things with our magnifying glass and definitely with our laser. So that's just one example of the power of focus, the power of clarity. So there's power in clarity, which is really focus. Rosa.
So beautiful. I love that. I love that. And when I think of vision, I I work with my clients this way. I help them envision a future self. So, what does your future self look like 1 month from now, 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, or more? I'm sure we all have pictures or images of feelings and sensations about who we are in the future. So that I talk about your future self. And there's a lot of studies on that about creating your future self. It's one and the same of your vision. So sometimes it's a little bit more challenging for people to think of vision and have it be a clear picture. But we have techniques where you could see it very clearly and focus on that future self. Okay. So going back to getting the right focus on the right action, that when you're focused, that it almost accelerates the movement, the activities of the day. Because when we have a day that's scattered and there's a number of things to do, but you don't have it organized or in a flow, you end up being, again, exhausted at the end of the day because you were so busy, but distracted, so to speak. When you're focused, you know what? You can actually listen to a tune. You could walk down the road humming because you know exactly where you're going for your next stop. Doesn't that make a much more easeful and peaceful day? That's
And
why
productive.
productive, right? So, but you feel productive after the day. I'm talking about the process itself becomes enjoyable. So we're not all about achieving or the end, but we need to enjoy the process. And that's what's missing in a lot of people's lives. Please, guys, don't focus only on the result. It'll stress you out, it'll burn you out, it'll take you to your grave much faster than you want. So if you want to have your families around and you around for your families, then we urge you to join in with us on this upcoming challenge we'll be telling you about. How do we maintain that space? That's something we should talk about, Gary.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say? How do we stay on that chosen path most effectively?
So that's been a challenge for a lot of us. And I know I've been guilty of that. We form this great pathway and a walkway to go on, and we put steps in and we create a nice diagram for how we're going to follow the next 90 days, and then we fall off. Why? Emotions get involved, incidents occur that affect your heart, your mind, your very being. So a lot of it has to do with, again, another model that I learned from and have taught a lot about. It's called the SABR, SABR. So if you want to write this down, self-talk, S is for self-talk, A is for attitude, B is for behavior, and R is for results. Why is that important? We have over 80,000 thoughts a day, and over 60,000 of them are negative. Now, that's not good news. I don't like sharing bad news, but it's reality. And we were not born this way, to be honest. We were simply conditioned this way. Make that distinction. You were not born this way. We were born for truth and light and hope and joy. But somewhere along the road, we got distracted and conditioned. And so this is what happens is, in order for us to move forward consistently, that self-talk has to be highly positive. And if we don't know how, we will lose our way. The self-talk, then once that self-talk is maintained in a high note, high vibe, then the attitude shifts naturally. It's a natural transition. The attitude is joyful, peaceful, harmonious, and people want to be around us. The behavior is what attracts others to want to stay with us. So the behavior is something I remember for my 21st birthday party. I never expected all the invitees to show up because people said invite double the amount. So I invited 75 people. I thought 35 would show up. Guess what? 76 showed up. So then I realized that all those people wanted to be around me. And only in retrospect, I realized why. And I was told too, and I realized it was because I brought a lot of joy and happiness to people when we went out, when we hung out, when we did a coffee, even when we were sharing sad stories. We had our giggles, but we were able to be open with each other. So that's behavior. Then behavior turns into results. What are the results we get from how we are being? Okay. So there are also some ways in which we can do this. And I think there was something, at some point you were going to ask me about, Gary, at this point.
Yeah, so I just want to add to this before I do that, this last point. When I used to work with Bob Proctor some 30 years ago for 5 years, and he has the stick person models. Many of you probably have been through some of Bob Proctor's workshops and so on.
Yes.
So I love this statement, and so, and we know that for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction, right? Energy goes out and it manifests into something. And so when his comment was that for every action, there's a reaction. That reaction is our results. So our behavior is the action and the reaction is the result. So there's a perfect link between behavior and results, and then supported by an amazing attitude, which is supported by amazing self-talk. And that's key, right? So we have Saber. And then there's a challenge, Rose, I'm going to ask you about here. The biggest mistake that people often make in terms of their thinking versus their heart.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's what it was. What I learned recently, and I wasn't even as conscious about it as now because of the meditation that I'm doing too. I want to encourage you to do meditation regularly because it really changes the way we perceive things and the way we feel, the sensations we experience in a day. What I learned is that self-talk has two parts to it. So we have thoughts that have been in us for many, many, many years. And now what happens is we listen to those thoughts and they've turned into beliefs. We actually believe those things. That's why they're called beliefs. And we continue acting accordingly. The suggestion is don't listen so much to the current thoughts that are ingrained in us, but do some inputting of self-talk every single day. So if we talk to ourselves a little bit more than simply listening to the talk, now we're not talking about listening to your heart yet, we're talking about the self-talk. The mind is a little monkey. It's busy, it's nonstop. It knows it has a job to do and it's doing its job well. We're not ever faulting the mind. What it is, it's doing this job too well, and sometimes we let it go. And so if we can manage the inputting of positive thoughts, beliefs, ideas, and behaviors in there, we can then come away with a more balanced mindset. Okay. And so the biggest mistake is we listen in too much and act based on that. So
hey, Rose, I just want to add. I've actually applied that recently. And in the last 30 days, I've literally, created a certain input in the morning that I read and verbalize, and it's literally changed that behavior by doing exactly what you just said, by inputting new inputs into my brain patterning, into my beliefs, and it's literally changed a new behavior. So
that's amazing, Gary. That is so cool. So the other part of it is managing the mind and maintaining a calm, personable, warm, open, receptive mindset, giving, caring, sharing. But the heart is often ignored, Gary. If we would only start listening to the heart more than we listen to the mind, there's the catch. Input, play with the mind, manage the mind, treat it like a kid, the way you would treat a kid. You love them, but they misbehave sometimes. You bring them back on track, right? But the heart is really hardly ever wrong. When is it? The heart only knows how to love and bring peace and harmony. So if you would listen to the heart more often, it would really guide you through this transition. And Gary has a lot of examples in his life talking to us about the heart and how you can actually bring trust through the transition. Gary, why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, the umbrella organization here that we're delivering some of this material through is called Trusting Through the Transition. And just a quick note, I actually developed this like 12 years ago when we were going through the last or pre the last recession, the big one. And that was the key is that, we have a choice every moment, whether we choose faith or fear, whether we choose trust or doubt. And so it's our choice right now for many of us, not knowing what the economy is going to bring, is it's a conscious choice to choose to trust that things will be fine, to choose to listen to our heart and to follow our heart. I know my experience and many people's experience has been every time I followed my heart, that's always been the best decision because there's wisdom, there's intelligence in the heart. And so that's what we're encouraging you to do. And that's also what we're going to be covering next week when Rose and I do the full week of our Career Calling Challenge webinar series starting Monday. Make sure it's in your calendar. Make sure you register here on the link or the other links that you'll see Monday, July 11th through lunch hour, 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time, through the entire week until Friday the 15th. So maximum value, great content about clarity for you, for career, to discerning what would be most meaningful direction for you, to follow your heart. Okay, we'll be totally tying all this together to give you some great value. So we encourage you to carve out that time. It's to be well worth your time, good investment of time over lunch hour. Eat while you join us as well. And we're gonna have a lot of fun as well.
And Gab,
Rosa.
that link will be posted here today, right? After
Yes.
this call. Wonderful. I am so excited. We both are so excited to share all this information with you, which we've been working with for years and years and years in different capacities. And we just have to give it to you now. It's time because the world is hurting. The world is waiting for you. And you have gifts that people are waiting to take advantage of, to really use, and they don't have your skills and your talents. So we want you to find your unique skills and talents and strengths so that you can serve others greatly and make the world a better place. As much as you want the world to be a better place, it is also our responsibility to make the world a better place. Let's do this together, guys. Looking forward to meeting you all next week, Monday at noon.
Excellent, Rosa. Okay, good. I'm just going to put in chat here before we close this live session, just the link here, and then I will close this.
Thank you, Gary. It's going to be fun. It's always been fun working with you. You're so passionate about everything that you do. I love it. And I know that God brought us together because it was happening, so to speak, when we met to do this work. And the compliments of our skill sets is amazing.
Absolutely.
You will enjoy that.
And people can see we're different styles and different strengths and different giftings. And so we are actually combining the two of those together in a pretty harmonious way to bring the best of both of us, our styles, our experiences, our passions. And so, yeah, come and join us and see and feel and experience all of that next week. And so in chat is now the link, so you can just register. It is complimentary. So come and join us and you'll be glad that you did.
Yeah, register now. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.